Buddha Z. And today is an interesting topic. The soul. The soul. Now, Buddhism actually, well, everyone for the first generation of Buddhists was a Hindu. So every Hindu believed in reincarnation. So Buddha had no reason to say there is no such thing as reincarnation because he didn't know either way. So he had no choice but to go along with the flow there. You know, how could you say something doesn't exist if you don't know it doesn't exist? That'd be ludicrous. And fortunately for us, Buddha was not ludicrous. He was dang tootin' smart. Anyway, so that would mean that there is a soul. And that means that you live a life, you know, and then you die, and then that soul lives another life. So you keep, the soul should, in a sense, progress. But we don't have memories. And I've got a lot of poems and topics and things to say about that, our memories and reincarnation. But let's just put all that in perspective and get into that soul thing and the life thing and your born thing. And I also like to address the issue of, you know, what if you have two daughters, and one daughter was yours by birth, you inseminated your wife and she had your kid, and the other daughter you inherited, or you as a stepdaughter, you adopted. So between those two, is the one that you actually inseminated to create, is she any more special than the one you have adopted? And that's really the tale. And you see it in some older movies. And it's interesting. I never really kind of like paid attention to it because, well, to be honest with you, until I actually had children, I honestly thought that there was something special about inseminating somebody and that there was somehow a connection. But it turns out that's not true. I'm disappointed to say so. I honestly, truly believe that it did exist. I honestly did. And if it does, it says just because whenever we do see each other, we'll always be good friends. But I think maybe if they were both adopted, my kids, if we saw each other again, it'd be exactly the same. Yeah, how about that? So yeah, it doesn't make any difference. And so anyway, but this doesn't address that directly. But these are all questions that all bubble through my mind as I get on this topic. And then there's the other possibility that I've actually traveled with my soul and seen things and even got a glimpse of heaven or something. You know, I mean, I've got some stories to tell. We could call them fantastic fantasies. I don't care, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to defend anything I've written. Let's call it all my creativity, because yeah, I don't mind being considered a creative guy. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so let's address this issue. Let's see if you got it by the end of the poem. Father's Day, no women. And this was written on Father's Day, June 16th, 2019. And 2019 was the last year of my homeless life. So several months after I wrote this poem is when I finally got my Section 8 voucher, and I got my subsidy, and I was able to move into where I am now. So, of course, I didn't know that at the time I wrote this. Here we go, this. We need women to reproduce. We have a variety from which to choose to inseminate with reproductive juice. But if we do it artificially, remove the egg and inseminate it to create a test tube baby, is the science baby not godly blessed? Does sex require a seduction romantically? Is a rape pregnancy worth any less? So if we can agree that all babies are equal, despite being born or abandoned alone, if being alive makes us all equal, then so it must be for the human clone. All right. Buddha Z explaining that you need to start thinking about what it's going to be like when the world's full of clones. Actually, the last name will all be Musk.